Morning, everyone, and welcome to today's service. We're glad you're here to join us with for Lucy's question box experience extravaganza. We also have the tumbleweeds here with us for today's service to gift us with some music. If you would stand with us and sing "Enter, Rejoice, and Come In."
Oh, we need some slides.
Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
Good morning. How is everybody? Okay. Welcome. Good morning. We're glad that you have joined us. My name is Courtney O'Neill, and I am the worship associate for today's service. With me are Reverend Lucy Bunch, musical director Anthony Tavianini, and pianist Irina Chanseva. Reverend Roger is away until August 25th. I also want to welcome the band, the Tumbleweeds, to our service today. We are delighted that they will be sharing their music with us today. They play eclectic roots music. The band includes UUSS members Nancy Flagg and Carol Gooden, along with their friends Janet Comstock and Sandy Andrews Prosser. Thank you for being with us. So today is a special day. This is our annual question box service where Reverend Lucy will answer your questions. We have received several questions in advance, plus later in the service, those of you here in the sanctuary and at home on Zoom will have the opportunity to submit additional questions for Lucy to answer. If you are new to UUSS, we extend a special welcome. Please fill out a newcomer's card so that we can contact you either by the link to our website or at the welcome table after the service. Next Sunday is our Exploring UU class at 9:30. Great for newcomers as well as old-timers. And the theme for this month is social justice. How do we live our faith? After the service on Zoom, we will have 12 minutes of conversation and getting acquainted in smaller breakout rooms. Here on site, you can check out our connections table in the welcome hall. And we do have refreshments out on the patio. If you'd like to follow the music and readings in today's service, there is a printed copy of the order of service on the back table by the doors, or you can click the link in our Zoom chat. The Blue Sheet weekly calendar of activities is also on the back table, and it is also online with a link in the chat. There are some new classes starting up later this month, so be sure to check out the Blue Sheet and the Blue Sheet and the message to learn more. Ann Kronzer, our wonderful mindfulness teacher, will be offering a 5-class series, Heart Practice Meditation. This is cultivating a steady heart in turbulent times. It starts on August 30th, both in person and on Zoom. Find out more at the connection table or on our website. Last but not least, I want to tell you all about a special concert this afternoon at 2 p.m. offered by Irina and Friends, titled Ragtime and a Hint of Blue. It's wonderful music. It involves the flute, the violin, the cello, the string bass, the piano, and voice. You can buy tickets at the door for $20 by cash, check, or by text. Again, we are so glad you're here with us this morning. Please be sure if you are here in person to check your cell phone to ensure that it is on silent mode, to avoid any embarrassment, to help everyone be more present and mindful in the service. And with that, we will now have some music for centering.
Good morning. I'm excited and terrified that it's question box service today. Our chalice lighting words this morning come from Julianne Lepp. We seek our place in the world and answers to our heart's deep questions. As we seek, may our hearts be open to unexpected answers. May the light of our chalice remind us that this is a community of warmth, of wisdom, and welcoming of multiple truths. I'm going to spend a lot of time in this spot today. This is my question answering spot. We move the pulpit over a little bit. Those of you who have been here before or been here for a while will know that every Sunday we have a little time in our service that we call prayer and reflection, or prayer and meditation. And often people ask the question, what does prayer mean to a UU? So I thought, given that this is a question box service, Roger has preached some wonderful sermons on prayer, and I encourage you to look for those on our website. But many of you, if you were raised in a monotheistic religion or a religion that had a transcendent God, you're used to the idea of prayer being a petitionary type of prayer, asking this God spirit for something. But there are many different types of prayer, and one of the definitions that I really appreciate is the idea that prayer is like a quieting and settling of ourselves so that we can connect deeply with what is outside of ourselves. Whether as a humanist, that means the interconnection of all beings, or if you're a pagan, it means connecting with the force of nature in the universe, or if you're a theist, it means connecting with the larger divine sense of God in the world. So prayer is a quieting process. And we do a variety of prayer styles here in the congregation. We use words a lot. We're UUs, right? But it's totally possible. One of my favorite, when I was doing a sermon on aging, there was a man in his 90s talking about what prayer had evolved for him, and he said, prayer has become sitting and letting God love me. I just thought that was incredibly beautiful. So prayer can be whatever you need to settle, to be engaged and present, to be calm and aware. Prayer can be asking for things if that's your thing, but it doesn't have to be. So I want to do one of the forms of prayer that we've done here. So, we've done embodied prayer, we've done humming. I love the humming. We've done word-based prayer. But today we're going to do our embodied prayer, but I'm going to suggest that you don't, a lot of times I'll direct you and say what the words are that you might want to think about as we do it. I'm going to go through the motions with you, but I encourage you to not put any words to the movements that we're going to do, but to concentrate really on just relaxing your chest and relaxing your face and just taking in whatever is here in this wonderful community to be taken in this wonderful world. It is indeed a wonderful world despite everything. So let us pray this morning our embodied prayer, and I'll just walk through the motions and then we'll do it 3 times together in silence. So we start in a prayer pose. Then we open out our arms to the front. We reach out one more. Do this to whatever extent your body allows, and then we come back to our heart. And then we repeat with the start in the prayer pose. So let's just make space for a relaxed heart, a calm sense of being. Relax your face, and just be present with whatever comes in these moments. Here we go. May our hearts be open and our spirits connected to that which is larger than any of us. And let us take a moment now to reflect on the joys and sorrows that are in your heart today. And I want to offer a thing for our community to know and care, that Ray Reynolds, beloved longtime member, passed away on Monday. So if you know Ray, just take a few deep breaths and think of him and wish his spirit a good place and a good freedom, or use this time for whatever is on your heart this morning. Let's just take 6 deep breaths of silence together. Blessed be.
And I wish I could have been there.
Rainier Maria Rilke was an Austrian poet and novelist who lived in the late 19th and early 20th century. This reading is from Letters to a Young Poet, which is a compilation of his mentoring letters to a younger poet. Have patience with everything unresolved in your heart, and try to love the questions themselves as if they were locked rooms or books written in a very foreign language. Don't search for the answers which could not be given to you now, because you would not be able to live with them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps then, someday far in the future, you will gradually, without even noticing it, live your way into the answer. Alice Walker, an African-American contemporary poet and novelist, wrote the following poem in response to the quote above. I must love the questions themselves, as Rilke said. Like locked rooms full of treasures to which my blind and groping key does not yet fit, and await the answers as unsealed letters, mailed with dubious intent and written in a very foreign tongue. And in the hourly making of myself, no thought of time to force, to squeeze, the space I grow into. Is everybody ready for our first round of questions? No. Our first round of questions will be selected randomly from those that were submitted to us by email. Now, Reverend Lucy has reviewed these questions in advance, but she does not know which ones will be asked.
And some came in at midnight, and I haven't had a chance to think about them.
So let's begin. Rachel Nickel asks, if a movie film crew came to do a movie of the UUSS, who would you like to play your role?
Well, I did think about this one. It's interesting how these things pop into your head. Some of you may remember the actress Blythe Danner. So I would choose her she's probably in her 80s now. She's Gwyneth Paltrow's mother. But she's beautiful like me, of course, so that's a good fit, right? But I love her energy and her sense of presence, and I kind of aspire to having that. So I would choose Blythe Danner. And thank you for that question, Rachel.
Mario Giacomoto asks, the third principle includes the text spiritual growth. Would you define spiritual, and what would the term mean to a humanist?
I know you're out there, Mario, because you're always on Zoom, and thank you for sending this to me a few days in advance. We used to have a small group ministry called Spiritual Deepening Circles. It shifted into Soul Matters, but many of you remember that. And I would get a lot of questions about what is spiritual. And so I started having the first session be a discussion of what was spiritual, and then I'd get a lot of people quitting the groups because they didn't like the answer to what was spiritual. So I know I have to tread really lightly on this, lest you people will flee the sanctuary. So, Can I have the question again?
You may.
There's two parts to it.
The third principle includes the text spiritual growth. Would you please define spiritual? And what does the term spiritual mean to a humanist?
So I think spiritual is that part of ourselves that is connecting with something outside of ourselves. I don't think you can be a spiritual being without that larger sense of connection. And so for me, a spiritual practice is whatever you do to connect. It may, in Hinduism, we know yoga as the stretching thing, but Hindus, and a lot of people that do yoga know there's meditative aspects to it. For yoga, for Hindus means the way or the practice, and they know that reading is a yoga. They know that praying by looking into the eyes of a god or goddess is a yoga, because they know there's many paths to allow you to take what's in you, the connection of yourself, and be a part of something larger than yourself. So spiritual to me means that sense of bringing who we are into resonance, maybe is the word I want. How many of you feel spiritual when you go into a forest or the ocean? You're resonating. So I see that's my experience of what spiritual means. But just like the Hindus have a variety of ways of having yogas, I'd love to hear, spiritual is one of those things that, especially as you use, there's a lot of flavors. So you don't, to answer Mario's second part of his question, you don't have to believe in a God. A humanist is defined as someone who sees the connection in humans, that humans are the manifestations of the Spirit on earth. And so you can be an atheist and be a deeply spiritual person. It doesn't require a belief in a God to be spiritual. It just requires a willingness to find those ways to resonate your inner self with the resonance of the outer world, however you do that. So that's probably not good enough for you, Mario, because I know you're very particular, but if you want to call me, we can have a conversation.
Susan Walters asks, what are the 7 UU principles?
Oh, I hope she doesn't want me to recite them. Are you here, Susan? Hi. So I want to encourage you to go to our welcome table and get, and also in the hymnal, if you have a hymnal, they're right in front of the first hymn is the list of the 7 principles. But the thing that I want to say what the principles are not, is that okay? You're in charge, will you give me permission to do that?
I'll allow it.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So the principles are not a creed. You don't have to check them off. They're a covenant that we have together, not only amongst ourselves here, but with all other UUs, that we covenant to affirm and promote these principles. The inherent worth and dignity of every human, free and responsible search for truth and meaning. I'm not going to go through them all because I'm not going to remember them all. My favorite, the interdependent web, respect for the interdependent web. So the principles are guides, and they're also something that unites us as UUs and challenge us. There is currently in our bylaws, they're a part of our bylaws, and we're required to review them every 15 years, and that's happening right now. And it's likely they're going to change, and there might not even be 7 of them. Because there's already an 8th principle that a lot of congregations, including ours, have adopted about our striving towards racial justice and equity. So the principles are guides, but this is an exciting year, and I'm going to put in a plug that Roger and I are going to do a sermon series reflecting on this transformative time in Unitarian Universalism and talking about some of the work of this commission that's looking at our principles. And so you'll be hearing more about this in the church here starting, actually we're going to start next Sunday talking about the free and responsible search for truth and meaning. So, I did a good job with that advertisement, didn't I?
You did.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Ooh. Karen Sparrow asks, if you were to create a new principle, what would it be?
Well, I'm going to change all the principles. Is that okay, Karen? Okay, Karen gave me the thumbs up. I wish our principles were more action-oriented. They're kind of passive, you know? A free and responsible, we covenant to affirm and promote a free and responsible search for truth and meaning. But I want a little more drive in them. So I'm hoping that this commission comes up with something that's a more active and engaged form of principles. And I think that actually speaks to Unitarian Universalism, because a lot of people say, oh, I love the principles, but they're not like actively trying to live them in their lives. The principles are easy to agree with, but they're really hard to live into. You know, the interdependent web itself is really hard to live into. So I'm hoping that the commission shortens them and comes up with something a little more active and driven. I don't know if I want the word driven, but I think you get the idea. But the thing that's really curious is the word love does not appear anywhere in the principles. And so that's one of the chatters among UUs right now, is that because our justice work is called Side with Love, and we've got this sense of radical love, and so I'm really hoping that when the principles are reformed, the word love emerges as a real force. Like us and our force for healing in the world and our mission statement, this idea of us having an intentional energy towards living our values and helping the world to be a better place for everyone.
You want to do one more?
No.
No. All right.
So those questions will stay in the box, and they may come back later.
Yep.
But for now, we're good.
Yep.
I need a break.
Okay.
In reflection on some of those principles, let us sing together in contemplation, We Are Not Our Own, 317.
Can they stand up if they want to?
You're very welcome to if you wish. We are not our own, earth forms us, human leaves on nature's growing vine, fruit of many generations, seeds of life divine. We are not alone, earth names us, past and present, peoples near and far, family and friends and strangers, show us who we are. Therefore let us make thanksgiving, and with justice willing and aware, give to earth and all things living liturgies of care. Let us be a house of welcome, living stone upholding living stone, gladly showing all our neighbors we are not our own.
Our congregation every Sunday gives half of our offering to an organization in the community that is doing the work of healing and making a difference. And for the month of August, our community partner is the International Rescue Committee. And we're very happy to have Keegan Wild, whose name I forgot, and I shouldn't have forgot, because isn't that the best name? Keegan Wild is here to tell us a little bit about the work of the International Rescue Committee.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having International Rescue Committee Chair, and thank you for having me here at W. So International Rescue Committee, if you're not aware, works with refugees, immigrants, and asylum seekers, specifically here in Sacramento. And we help house refugees, help them get their legal green cards or any legal services they might need, as well as different resources. So if they have children, get them in schools, help them get enrolled, as well as teach English classes or any other kind of classes that might benefit them here in America. And so a lot of our donations goes straight to the clients. So if that's helping with their legal services or with helping get an apartment or a housing situation, and allows them to, us go in and restocking their apartments with furniture or cleaning supplies. So all your donations will go to that. And we're also seeking out volunteers too. So if money is not, or donations is not something that you can give, we also would like your time. And I know I will be in the back for any other questions that you may have, as well as I was informed that there is a volunteer group already here, and that there is a list. So if you were volunteering before and would like to get back in, there is your name. Just make sure your contact information is still the same. Thank you.
Thank you. Our congregation has participated with the International Rescue Committee in many ways over the years, and of course, as you're aware, the need now is as great as ever. So please give generously to this important organization. The morning's offering will now be given and received. As the ushers bring forward the baskets, please join me in the Unison Response. That should be up on the screen any minute. You all know it. May the spirit of gratitude bless and multiply all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. So those of you following along in the order of service have figured out that I messed up. I think unconsciously I didn't want you to ask me any questions because I skipped over the question asking part. So Courtney, who this is her first time doing a solo worship associate, is doing such a good job that she pointed out to me that I messed up. So now we're going to back up the truck. So Ivan, you're going to need to pull up that question slide. You're ready. Okay.
It's okay, Lucy, I'm up for a little light hazing. So now it's your turn. So what questions would you in this space, in this real time, like Reverend Lucy to answer? Is it about UU faith and beliefs? Is it about the meaning of life? Is it about the best donuts in Sacramento? We all have opinions. You may ask Reverend Lucy any question you choose, but she does reserve the right to refuse not to answer certain questions that could be rude or intrusive. One question per person, no anonymous questions will be answered, so be sure to include your name. For those of you on Zoom, please put your questions in the chat box. For those of you present today in the sanctuary, there are pens and paper on the back table for you to write your question. Please make sure to put your name on it and place it in the back. We will take some time now for you to submit your questions, and at the end of the music, I will collect the questions, and we will have round two.
Courtney, you want to take the box and put it back there?
I will, yeah. I'm so excited.
Don't worry, be happy. I didn't choose that song to come right before the questions, but it's turned out really good.
I'm having a moment here.
Well, why don't you pick one from that
Yes.
box while you do that?
Okay. Marion Randall asks, Reverend Lucy, what was your call to ministry?
Oh, my. Well, it happened here in the early 90s when Eileen Carpeles was the minister, an interim minister here. Many of you know Eileen because she was affiliated with us for a while. I first came here, I saw that blank banner, and I was raised, my parents would drive me to a Baptist church, drop me off and pick me up after church. Moderately traumatizing. So I felt that there was no religion for me if I didn't accept what I was taught in that particular religion. And I'd heard about Unitarian Universalists, but I never came to one. And then when I moved to Sacramento, I didn't know anyone. I thought, this is the time to do it. And I came in and I saw that blank banner, and I felt like, here's a place that says there's room. And I had never seen a woman minister before. And Eileen was up here, and I just got this, I was like 33 years old. I got this flash of like, wow, I could do that. I could do that. And so I became a really active UU and was very active for many years. And then I kept, about every 5 years, I'd get this like, you should do that. I got more and more involved in preaching and here, and then when our sister congregation in the South area, I was very active there. And then about every 5 years, and I was an administrator at UC Davis, and I'd always say, this is ministry. What I'm doing here is ministry. And then at a certain point, sort of my own midlife crisis version, the not doing was intolerable. I couldn't not do it anymore. And so I quit my job and I went to seminary, and I was fortunate enough that this congregation was looking for a minister. My inspirational congregation. So it's my privilege to be here and to serve you.
Francesca Wilmot asks, do you think the arc of the moral universe bends toward justice, as the MLK Jr. quote goes?
Yeah, it's actually Theodore Parker, a Unitarian minister from the mid-19th century. Who asked that question? Hi. It doesn't bend on its own. Right? It's another wonderful UU thing. I preached on Star Trek eschatology. Eschatology means the end of times. But we look at Star Trek and we think, oh, except for those Klingons and a few other nasty alien species, it's all beautiful and good. But it doesn't just happen. The arc of the universe only bends if we do our part to reach up and pull it down and make it happen. So I believe that it can, but I believe that it doesn't bend on its own. And that's our task as humans who care about others, care about our earth. Our task is to do what we can to help it bend towards justice. Thank you. That's a great question. Did you get in?
I did not.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's not the Zoom. It's not.
You
the
want to come
meeting.
up, Karen, and get her into so we can have the Zoom
I'm
people?
going to ask you another one in the meantime, though.
Okay.
Hang on. Jim
Eastman.
Eastman, thank you. What are some ways to keep hope alive in these challenging times?
It makes me think about, there's that thing, hope is that thing with feathers. I don't think hope is really that light. Hope enlightens, it enlivens us and enlightens us, but hope itself is not like something that's floating. I think I think hope, and I'm, here I am, connection, connection, connection. Apparently that's my theology. I think you have to find those things. It's out there. It's everywhere. It is everywhere. You could look for nasty stuff. Just read the front page of the New York Times. But all the joy and beauty, all the possibilities and hope, it's all out there. You just have to tune yourself to it. And you have to minimize the amount of the crap that you expose yourself to. And that means minimizing the media. You have to tune yourself to it. I mean, when I see, frankly, people having children right now, to me, is like the greatest statement of hope. So do something to help people with young children. So hope is not just sitting there bouncing and feeling good about yourself. It's finding those connections, it's taking them in, and it's helping to generate hope for others. Thank you, Jim.
There we go.
Terry Ray asks, what's it all about, Lucy? There's a follow-up, but I kind of like...
What's it all about, Lucy?
I don't see any, so it's not.
Well, it's not about you, and it's not about me. And it's not, right? And I think feeling insignificant is really important spiritual work. So therefore, then you can become significant. So I'm not even answering the question that she asked me. What's it all about? It's all about just being present, really. It's all about just being present. You're going to miss out if you're not present, right? Must be present to win. It's all about being present. It's all about being present. Yeah. Oh, I don't get part two?
Oh,
You promoted part two and I don't get it?
Hold on.
That's all right.
What's it all about? Hang on. How do intelligent people without extraordinary resources keep on? In other words, why are humans here? Lucy did ask.
Yeah, I have only myself to blame. I don't know why humans are here. It's random, right? I mean, I don't think that God put them in the Garden of Eden. Humans are here because of some evolutionary things that happened and evolved into who we are. But again, I'm going to say, meaninglessness is not a bad thing because it's incredibly liberating. We're here. Let's make the most of it, right? It's kind of like Buddha saying about God. Everybody would ask Buddha about God. He said, I don't care about God. I care about what you do now. I care about who you are now. So I would say the same thing about that. Why are humans here? I have no idea, but we're here. And we may not be here in a few hundred years at the rate we're going. So, sorry, Terry. Oh, Terry gave me the thumbs up. Okay.
What brings you the most joy about being a minister in this particular UUSS congregation submitted by Lisa Dahlquist?
Where are you? Is she online or here? Hi, Lisa. Good to see you. You moved. You don't live near me anymore, right? That's correct. Yeah. We'll have to check up on that later on. Well, I have to say I'm so proud of this congregation, how we've weathered this pandemic together. There's a lot of congregations that aren't doing really well. They're not. Some of them are getting kind of mean and nasty. And there's a lot of ministers that have quit or retired because their congregations have gotten mean and nasty because their people are anxious. And what I've seen with our community, of course, if you're not anxious, you're not paying attention. But don't get out of control with it. And if you do feel out of control, come and see me and we'll have a little chat. But I love this congregation for our resilience and the way we care about each other. There's not a lot of gossipy, sniping, backbiting that goes on here. And it's a lovely, lovely place to serve. Plus whatever cockamamie thing I come up with, people show up for it. It's like the best thing. So I feel I think that's my favorite thing about this ministry is how creative you allow me to be and how responsive you are to the creative things that I put forward.
One more to close it out?
Are we going to get somebody online?
We didn't get any online that I could find.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised. Oh, I'm sorry, online people. I'll get them in the chat later and I'll respond to you, okay? Sorry about that. Yeah, one more is good.
Okay. Lucy, a few months ago, we had an off-the-cuff discussion about, in all capitals, slime mold. Question: how did you develop an interest in slime mold, as it is not an everyday discussion? Inquiring minds want to know. Signed, Dorothy, who else?
Is that you, Dorothy? Dorothy Orland. Hi, Dorothy. Well, slime mold are the coolest thing. I first heard about them on Science Friday. They're one cell. One cell. They have no apparent brain and they can solve mazes. They're incredible. So I consider myself a pagan, earth-based spirituality person, and I love it when there are creatures that do things in ways that we can't understand. It really expands my mind. And then I preached a whole sermon on fungus, because fungus, of which slime molds are a part, are the absolute coolest thing. Fungus are probably going to take over the earth, and that's probably a good thing. That's a weird question to end on. Let's do one more that's not about slime mold. Just one more.
Absolutely. Gina Guarneri, thank you.
Gina.
What is your belief about life after our death?
Oh my, let's stick with slime mold. Well, I think we come from the everything that is and we go back to the everything that is. I personally don't believe that my consciousness, this identity that I am now in this embodied self, will continue after I die. I think I'll just go back to wherever the energy that I am will go back to wherever it came from. And on some nights that freaks me out, and on other nights I'm perfectly fine with it. I think that the deaths that I have witnessed most of the time never seem like people are traumatized by it. It often feels like a homecoming, and I hope that that's the case. So, amen, and blessed be to that. Thank you. You're on.
With the spirituality of connection theme we've been embracing today, let's join together in singing We Laugh, We Cry, 354. We laugh, we cry, we live, we die, we dance, we sing our song. We need to feel there's something here to which we can belong. We need to feel the freedom just to have some time alone. But most of all, we need close friends we can call our very own. And we believe in life and in the strength of love. And we have found our need to be together. We have our hearts to give. We have our thoughts to receive. And we believe that sharing
Courtney extinguishes the chalice, let us all reach out to all those interconnections that we reflected on, and reach out for the questions, right? Living into the questions. That's what I wish for you in this week to come. Not answers, but questions that allow you to explore the mystery and the meaning, allow you to feel the presence and love and the possibility of what is to come for all of us and for our beautiful earth. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And we're going to have a lovely send-off from our weeds. They're asking us to sing along, and so here we go. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Smile down just when there's about the clouds when we're together. Just sing the song and bring the sunny weather. Happy trails to you till we meet again. Happy trails.